Bitcoiners, welcome. Bitcoiners, welcome. Traders, welcome. Who else? Supporters, followers, subscribers, Bitcoin lovers, Bitcoin haters, Bitcoin negators. Come on in, guys. Everyone is welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome to another live session with Oliver Velez. Of course, my name is Oliver Velez, and we're going to talk our favorite topic here today. So, guys, before we actually get started today, I want to say congratulations to all of my Americans who actually wanted what is commonly referred to today now as the United States' first Bitcoin president. For those of you who voted for President Trump, congratulations to all of you. All right, it's very exciting times as far as I'm concerned. The other thing I want to do is, before we get started, is I'd like you to let me know where you're piping in from. You know, most of you who are familiar with my live sessions, you know, I sort of like to get at least 300, maybe 400 people logged on first before we start delving into the meat of the topic. So in the meantime, let me know where you're coming in from. Brazil is in the house, I see. All right, I'm reading your comments down. So Tucson, Arizona. All right, let's go. All right, fantastic, fantastic. I love it. I love it. Philippines is here. International audience, guys. Montreal, welcome, Montreal. South Carolina, nice. Ohio, nice. Toronto, Orlando, Trinidad, Georgia, India, yes. I love it. Haiti, welcome, Haiti. North Carolina, again, Dallas, Bakersfield. All right, fantastic. South Korea, South Africa. I love it. Slovenia. All right. Albania. Wow, guys. All over the world, all 4 corners of planet Earth. Ecuador here. Puerto Rico. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Cape Town. Arizona again. Yes. Lebanon. Beirut. Haiti again. Wow. Okay. Beirut. Staten Island, New York. Okay. I'm a New Yorker. All right. Fantastic. I love it. Australia, Virginia. All right. Congrats. The Dutch are proud of you. America, take back your freedom. Fantastic. Fantastic. Virginia, Hartford, Connecticut. I love it, guys. Welcome. Rio. Rio's in the house. Guys, Rio is in the house. India is in the house. So now that we have Rio and India in particular in the house, I think we can start. Okay. All right. 234 people, not quite the 300 I was hoping for, but that'll be any second now. All right, guys. Exciting times. We are in not only Bitcoin's most bullish part of every year, which is primarily the last 3 months of the year. The last 3 months of virtually every single year is the most bullish part of the year for Bitcoin, but it's also statistically the most bullish part of the year for all markets. All right. I had a special session on this. I think it was my last session where I covered the different cycles. So if you did not take that in, you really should, because knowing these specific pockets, these cycles, if you will, can give you a very, very distinct edge in all markets. So the last 3 months out of the year is the most bullish part of the year for most markets. And Bitcoin is no different in this regard. October, November, December kicks off one of Bitcoin's most bullish parts of the year. I actually regard late October as being the start of Bitcoin's most exponential part of of the year. So late October for me is a start. Okay. And I think it's advantageous if you look at it that way. I've been pounding the table on this for over a year. For over a year, I've been telling anyone who would listen that listen, we have until late October. Those of you who are familiar with my talks, you know I have been doing this week after week, month after month. All right. People say, Oliver, why is Bitcoin not moving? Why is it doing this? What? I've been telling you, listen, our time is limited. It's getting smaller, but nothing major is going to happen, if history is any guide, until right before presidential election time. And what exactly happens right before presidential election time? We dipped down to $49,000 per Bitcoin, and now today we topped 76. So right on time, as if it were mathematical, Bitcoin, right before presidential election time, rallied off of that low of 49 right into $76,000 in a matter of weeks. That is incredibly impressive. But not only, listen to me carefully, not only is late October into the rest of the end of the year and into the following year, not only is late October, November, December the best period of the year for Bitcoin, it's also obviously the best period of Bitcoin's 4-year cycle. But that late October, the late October that comes every 4 years, the late October into November, December, every 4 years during the US presidential election is exponential times 2. Do you understand? So every year it's bullish, but every 4 years it's freaking mega bullish. So this is what I want to show you today. I want to show you how every presidential election year, all right, every presidential election year is a good year, but the best part of that year starts happening late October into the presidential election and beyond. I also want to show, I want to demonstrate to you that the year that follows the US presidential election is Bitcoin's most exponential year. So the best is still ahead of us. No, you're not late. No, 76, 75 is not high from an historical point of view. If history's any guide, you're still early at 75, 76, because we still have 2025, which, if history's any guide, and it is, it's the only guide we have, is the most exponential year. If there's any year you do not want to miss, if there's any year you don't want to have any Bitcoin, it's the year after the US presidential election. And I'm going to show you this throughout its history. But the main crux of my talk here today, people, is to show you that despite Bitcoin almost mathematically following a very predictable pattern like this time is different in the sense that it is the most bullish. It is the most powerful. It is the most exponential of any of its prior cycles. Now, I will say right off the bat, before we start looking at things, I will say that we don't have a lot of data points, right? So it's not like I can go over 10 US presidential elections. Bitcoin's a baby. It's 16 years old. It's a teenager. All right. But that's actually something you should welcome. That's a sign that we're still early. You're still early. All right. You do not want to wait until we have 10 US presidential election data points to look at. It's too late by then. Okay. So we don't have a lot of data points, but we have to use what we have. We're going to use all the ones that we have, and I have something very interesting to show you. So grab the beverage of your choice, grab something to take notes with, and let's get down to business. All right, Hawaii is in the house. Good, awesome. Welcome, Hawaii. Okay, So let's take a look at all of the US presidential elections during Bitcoin's life. Let's do it now. Okay. Boom. All right. Now, take 5 seconds, smoke on that. I have 3 columns here. I've got presidential election day price. Now, the day I'm using is the closing day after the president is known. So that would be today. All right. So we knew who was the new president in the wee hours of the morning today, based on my time frame. So it's the closing of today for the most part, more or less. All right. So election day price throughout the years. The second column, or the middle column, is the prior cycle high before the presidential election day. What was the prior high? What was the all-time high on presidential election day? That's what the middle column is, the all-time high prior to presidential election day. That's the middle column. Now, the third column on the far right is the percentage difference between the presidential election day price and the all-time high price before the presidential election day. All right. Now, let's take a look at this. Let's dive into this a bit. 2000 Bitcoin comes in. Satoshi Nakamoto releases the Bitcoin white paper on October 31st in 2008. One of the reasons I believe that Bitcoin's bullish period starts late October is because Bitcoin's real, true birth, Bitcoin's first form of manifestation into the world, into our world, was on October 31st. So if you really think about it, Bitcoin's start is late October. And so almost every late October during the bullish years, almost every late October kicks off a bullish run, right? I don't think that's by coincidence, guys. I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that the most powerful part of Bitcoin's ascent typically starts off late October. And Bitcoin's life started off late October, October 31st, with the issuance of the Bitcoin white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto. It's pretty crazy, right? All right. I just think, guys, I don't believe in coincidences. All right. And I'm not going to start now. I just think that those things go hand in hand. Okay. So now look, we have on 2012, the election day on 2012, right? Bitcoin closed at $11. After knowing the president, Bitcoin closed at $11. Now, the prior high on that date, Bitcoin had run up prior to this election date. All right. A couple of years before. That prior high was $32. Now, I want you to think about this. 2012, the election day price is 11, but it is 190% below the all-time high of Bitcoin on that date. So the first presidential election date of its life, it closes 190% below the all-time high in Bitcoin. Okay, let's go to the next presidential election, 2016. Once we knew who the president was on 2016, all right, it was President Trump. The election day closing price was $711. Now, the all-time high on that date was 1,240. So when President Trump got elected in 2016, Bitcoin closed 74% below Bitcoin's all-time high. All right. Crazy, right? Let's go to the next presidential election, 2020. That's the Biden presidential election term. All right. Once we knew who the president was or supposedly was at that particular point, right? Bitcoin closes on after presidential election day or on at the end of presidential election day. Bitcoin closes at a price of 13,000. Its all-time high was just a little bit shy of 20,000. It closed 54% below Bitcoin's all-time high. Now, yesterday or today is the day, okay? Now, I know I'm a little off now. I think that Bitcoin is down off of 76 now, but you get my point. At the point of my talking to you, it did cross 76 today. But 2024 election today, all right, I'm using 76,000, okay? It's now at 75,000 to 75,000. Doesn't matter. The point is that the prior all-time high of the last cycle was 69. So Bitcoin closes today more or less 10% above last cycle's high. Now, I want you to take a look for me. Do this for me, and I want to see your comments. I'll share some of your comments on the screen if you don't mind. Take a look at the difference. The first thing I want you to do is to take a look at all of the election day prices. Take a look at them. All right, you see them? Take a look at them. Now, walk up the ladder, guys. Walk the ladder up, okay? $11. $711 next. $13,000 next. $76,000 next. Guys, what if you just focused on presidential election day? What if you took Bitcoin, guys, as a 4-year play, which you should be doing? It's 4 years. I don't care what Bitcoin does between presidential election days. I'm just going to rock with presidential election day. I am going to stack every single day or every single week or every single month or every single quarter until the next presidential election day. Then I'm going to lift my head up and say, oh, where's the price? What if you did that? Look at your freaking gains every 4 years. You would go from $11 to $711 to $13,000 to $76,000. The next presidential election year is 2028, is 2028. Give me your best guess. I know it's shooting in the wind, but that's okay. Let's have some fun. Where do you think this is going to be in 2028? Look at the stair step up to heaven. All right. Carlos says 250,000. Great. I see 650,000. I see 760,000. Wow. 2.8 million. All right. I love all of these responses. I love all of these responses. And let me tell you why I love all of these responses. It doesn't matter. Listen to me carefully, people. This is very important. I love these responses, all of them. All right. 1.2 million, 475. What's the biggest one I got so far? 500. I see 20 million. Let me tell you why I love all of these prices. And it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You may not be right on the price itself, but every single one here who gave a price got it right directionally. That's all you need to change your life forever. Do you understand this, people? You don't need accuracy with a price. You need accuracy with direction. None of you said below 76,000. Not a single person here said below 76,000. So all of you are correct, because in 2028, it is comfortably, if not greatly above 76,000. Every single person is right. There's this false notion, people, that you have to be pinpoint accurate to make money in financial markets. This is ridiculous. I have been a professional market player since the 1980s. I'm going on 44 years of playing markets professionally in my life, playing markets, not professionally. 44 years. If we remove the idiot years of trying to learn and get myself to a base of profitability, we're talking, I'm going on 38 years of professionally playing the markets, 44 years in total. And I will tell you, as this is the only activity I've ever done in my life. Do you understand? I don't know how to do anything else. If you took markets away from me, I'd be like, what do I do? All right. I don't know anything, but I will tell you this. In all of my decades of market experience, it has demonstrated to me over and over and over again that you can be wrong as far as price, but right as far as your direction, and you can frickin' get wealthy. You can change your life. You can change your family's status. Do you understand? As long as we get the direction right. All right. Who cares if someone said it was 450 and it wound up being 320? Who cares? Who cares if someone said it's 320, but it wound up being 850,000? Who cares? Do you understand? The people here, the people in 2016 who are in at $700, do you think they care whether their projection was 100,000 or 76 or 30,000? Nobody cares. They were in at $700. They got the direction right. And so, guys, it's fun. I play this specific number game. I play that bullseye game. It's fun. It's exciting. It's like a video game. All right, I think it's going to be 320. Fine. But it doesn't matter if you're right with the price. It only matters if you're directionally right. If you want to change your life forever on something like Bitcoin, and you can, all you have to do is get the direction right over the next 4 years. The next presidential election day, if it's higher than 76, you're wealthier. If you make sure that every single quarter of your life between today and the next presidential election day, if you make sure that every quarter you've got a little bit more Bitcoin than the last quarter, you're going to be wealthier. It's a mathematical certainty. You can't be wrong with this. All right? What makes it difficult for people to understand this, because I always get pushback on this. People say, Oliver, how can you be so confident though? How can you be so sure that this is going to continue? Isn't the saying always that past results are no guarantee of future? The past is no guarantee of future results? Yes. With every single thing else that we've ever known, that is true. I'm not refuting that. And so people say, but Oliver, why isn't it true for Bitcoin? Why is it true for everything else, but not for Bitcoin? Because everything else was created, and is currently manipulated, controlled, and run by human beings. How freaking reliable are human beings? I don't know where you live, but where I live, human beings are not reliable at all. In many cases, they aren't. There's some degree of reliability, like there's reliability with human beings. You will fail me at one point in the future. That's pretty certain. Every human being is going to fail you. Every single one in your life. Your mother, your father, your significant other, your wife, your husband, your children, your best friend, every institution, every company, every country. That is a freaking guarantee. we do have reliability in that sense. But when it comes to financial markets, all financial markets were created, brought into existence, continue to be manipulated, controlled, and run by a small group of human beings. This fact makes it very unreliable. But Bitcoin, on the other hand, people, was not brought into existence by human beings. It was discovered. Bitcoin's a discovery. It is not an invention. Don't get it twisted. Don't get all the ingredients that were put together to help discover Bitcoin. Don't confuse the ingredients that Satoshi Nakamoto put together for what those ingredients, boom, discovered. Bitcoin's a discovery that came about from Satoshi Nakamoto saying, okay, I'll take hash rate, I'll take 256, SHA-256. I'll take cryptographic security. I'll take blockchain. Boom. Oh, shit. What the fuck is this? There's no different from the person who put all of the material together to create the microscope. Don't confuse the items that created the microscope and what the microscope discovered. Oh my goodness. There's an entire world we never knew existed, a subatomic world. So Satoshi put together these items and looked through the items and, oh shit, there's Bitcoin. You understand? But the point I'm trying to say is that Bitcoin was a discovery, wasn't created out of thin air by human beings, nor is it run by human beings, nor is it controlled by human beings, nor can human beings alter it, stop it, inflate it, deflate it, steal it, confiscate it, hack it. Human beings can't touch this. Do you understand? And because it's math. Do you understand? So mathematics cannot be altered. And so the reliability, the certainty comes from the fact that Bitcoin at its core is simply mathematics, people. 1 + 1 = 2, no matter what president is in office. 1 + 1 = 2, no matter what the state of the economy. 1 + 1 = 2, no matter what the Federal Reserve does. 1 + 1 = 2, no matter whether we're in recession. 1 + 1 = 2, whether we're in a booming economy. 1 + 1 = 2, whether we're in a low interest rate environment, whether we're in a high interest rate environment, whether inflation is low, whether inflation is high. 1 + 1 = 2 all the time. And Bitcoin is maths. And the people resist this, which I understand in a way, because we have never had a market that was based purely on math. The first time in the human experience, we have certainty. For the first time, you and I can save on something and know that no one's going to change the rules. No one's going to halt it. No one's going to stop it. No one's going to flip it upside down. No one's going to fuck with it. No one's going to hack it. No one's going to alter the rules. And it's very difficult for people to wrap their hands around the fact that we now, for the first time, have certainty. That's right, absolute certainty. And the faster you realize that, the faster you will get on to accumulating this thing so that it can provide that certain generational wealth for you and your family. You understand? It's too good to be true, Oliver. I'm sorry if you feel that way, but is 1 + 1 = 2 all the time too good to be true? All right, that's what we're dealing with here. Okay, we're dealing with maths. Now, let's get back to this. Okay, let's get back to this. So when we look at this left-hand column, 11, 2, 7, 7, 11, $711, $13,000, $76,000. Next 2028 election, we're definitely six digits. Now, what I want to show you, I want to show you something here. I want to show you now. Let's go to all of the prior cycle highs: 32, 1,240, 20,000, 69,000. But the real column I want you to zero in on right now is the percentage difference between the presidential election day price and the all-time high price at the point of the presidential election price. Now take a look at this. The first one, the Bitcoin's first presidential election, 2012, right? You're 190% under Bitcoin's all-time high. The next one, 2016, you're 74% under the all-time high. 2020, we're 54% under the all-time high. What happened? I'm looking for one word that starts with an F. You tell me. Something happened this presidential election. What happened? The word starts with F. Something happened. What happened? Think of the word, a word that starts with F that I'm thinking about. Bitcoin did something this presidential election. What did it do? Let's see here. What did it do? I said, not FOMO. Those are finance. No, not FOMO. I like this. That's right. This is the word, guys. This is the word I'm looking for. It flipped. Look at it. Ashfran has it right. It freaking flipped it flipped the prior cycle high for the first time. For the first time, we went negative, 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 positive. Now, guess what? It's likely to never be negative again. Listen to me carefully, people. It's likely to never be negative again. Look at the trajectory. I'm going to show you this. Look at the trajectory, okay? Look at it. Negative 190%. Negative 74%, smaller. Negative 54%, smaller. Plus 10%, smaller. 2028, negative 90%, negative. Negative 74%, smaller negative. Negative 54%, even smaller negative. Plus 10%, not negative. Now, 2028, bigger plus. 2032, bigger plus. 2038, bigger plus. 2026, bigger plus. Do you understand? I think the pluses get bigger the same way the negatives got smaller. But how long, Oliver? Oliver, but how long? How long do you think this pattern is going to happen? Forever. Forever. I think forever. Now, what is forever for me? My lifetime, your kid's lifetime, forever. Yes, I believe that. I believe this train does not stop. Now, it's done all of this, people, with less than 1% of the world owning it. Do you understand how elite you are? Less than 1% of the entire world has Bitcoin, owns it, holds it in self-custody. And this is what it produced with less than 1%. What do you think it's going to freaking do at 5% adoption, 10% adoption, 30%, 60%? It's forever. Are cars still being adopted today? How long have we been adopting car travel? This train does not stop. These numbers will not stop, people. And that's right. The numbers don't lie. So when I tell you that this is the absolute best presidential election year in Bitcoin's life, here it is. Here it is. There it is. It's crazy. That's right. Certainty and security, they kind of go hand in hand, because if something's not secure, then it's not certain. But yes, I get it. Certainty as in terms of price direction, because adoption is only going to increase. So price is only going to increase. So certainty in terms of price direction, and certainty is in terms of security. It's powerful. All right. The proof is right here. That's right, guys. You know, I get pushback. It's crazy. And I understand. I mean, guys, when people, there's always starts off with a few people that start preaching, pounding the table. We should be free. We should be free. And it always starts off with a few people. We should be free from markets that are controlled by a group of men smoking cigars in a back room. We should be free from manipulation. We should be free from them changing the rules on us. After we get the game and understand the rules and start playing it well, boom, they flip the rules on us. You know what happened. Some of you know what happened in 2020, in 2008. Guys, look, 2008. All right. I'm in Colombia now. I semi-retired to Colombia in 2010. Do you understand? Because I got up until that point, the biggest score of my entire career was the 2008 financial collapse. Huge. Guys, when I say huge, I'm not going to throw any numbers. I'm not going to dox myself like that. But I will tell you, it was freaking mega. Do you understand? Just think the movie. What was the movie at that time? Whatever. Just think that movie, right? Based on the 2008 collapse. Just think that movie. It was huge. But listen to me carefully. My fortune on that play, that 2008 collapse in financial markets, because anyone who's followed me for any time know that I'm a natural short player. So I was short everything. Now listen to me carefully. It wasn't as huge as it was. It wasn't as huge as it could have been. And I got a little pissed. You know why? They changed the rules on me. They changed the rules on me. So I teach all of my traders that when you get a play that starts running in your favor, you add and you add and you add to the play. Your ads come on the initial periods of success. Most novices are adding to come out of a hole. They're adding when they're negative in a play in hopes that the ad is like a Hail Mary out of their trouble. I don't teach traders to do that. I teach you to add. When the train you chose starts leaving the station and you realize, I got the right train, now you add and you add and you add and you add. You make this thing freaking count. Do you understand? So when it came time for me and my traders to start adding to this short play, and during the collapse of 2008, guess what they did? They stopped you from shorting. That's right. You couldn't short. What? Like, dude, I've been shorting my whole life in the markets. What do you mean I can't short? Not now. They changed the freaking rules on me. My God, if I was able to add, holy shit. It was still mega, but it would have been ultra mega if I were able to add. They changed the rules. You remember what happened during the GameStop saga? They changed the rules to get institutions off the hook. Do you understand? To save their asses, they change the rules. I'll give you another example. JP Morgan was one of the biggest shorts with this Asian billionaire. I can't remember what country he was from, but an Asian billionaire and JP Morgan cornered, right, a market short. They cornered it. These two, with the help of JP Morgan, this Asian billionaire had the biggest short on this market. I'll tell you what the market is. You can go look it up. Nickel. It was nickel. This is not that far. This is not that long ago, actually. So this Asian billionaire, this huge mega short, he literally controlled or dampened the price of nickel. Now, from what I heard, he had a lot of business things that involved nickel, did not want the price of nickel to rise. So basically, he had the world's largest short position on with the help of JP Morgan. Well, you know probably what I'm about to say. The nickel market took off. Boom! And every single day, nickel went limit up. I don't know if you guys know what limit up is, but limit up is they only allow human beings only allow a market to go up so far before they say no one can trade anymore. This is what I'm talking about. Bitcoin is not a market run by human beings. You can't stop it. But every other market you can stop because every other market is manipulated and controlled by a small group of people. So these small group of people set a limit price. Nickel can only go up a certain limit. Once it goes up that limit, there's no more trading. Now, until the next day, nickel went limit up. Boom. No more trading until the next day. Now, if it opens limit up, there's no trading. Every single day, nickel, the traders would come to work and be like, let's see what nickel's going to do today. Boom, it would open limit up and they're like, there's nothing to do today. The next day, they'd come in with their coffee at their desk. Let's see if they were short. They're like, let's hope that nickel trades today so we can get out of our short. Boom, open nickel up, limit up. Can't get out of short today. Nothing to do today. It went limit up for 2 months. What? This is limit up, limit up, limit up. No trading. This guy's short position blew his life out of the water. It brought JP Morgan to bankruptcy. You'll never hear about this unless you're in the professional trading space. Guess what JP Morgan and the small group of people that run the market? They shut the market down for a month plus. Just shut it down. No one could place a trade. Don't even come to work. No trading for a month, month and a half, whatever it was. What this did was it cooled everything down. When the nickel market finally opened again, it opened, boom, way lower, and they got out of their shorts. JP Morgan's ass was saved by changing the rules. Bitcoin doesn't have limit up, people. This day is coming to Bitcoin where it runs and runs and runs and runs and runs and runs, and no one is going to be able to stop it. There's no limit up. There's no ability to shut the market off, turn everybody's computer off. None of that can be done with Bitcoin, and it's going to run and run and run. If this has happened to every single market that has ever existed in the human experience, you think that Bitcoin's an exception? That's not coming to Bitcoin? Oh, you bet your bottom dollar it's coming to Bitcoin. And when it does, it will never stop running for a very long time. And you want to make sure you have this thing before that happens. It comes to every market. That is why they have limit up rules. That is why they have circuit breaker rules. That is why they have shut every market off in the world during these times. What happened when the Twin Towers got hit in 2001? They closed the market for a week. Can you imagine what would have happened if they didn't close the market for a week? It would have gone to zero. They had to save everybody's ass by closing the world's largest market off. You can't turn Bitcoin off, people. It is the truest, the most honest market in the world. And human beings can't stop it, can't halt it, can't place limits on it, can't put brackets around its movements. It's an incredible time to be alive. We're going to be written about. You and I, we're going to be written about. People are going to read history about the new early adopters of Bitcoin and how they knew. Crazy. Did they shut the market down when oil went negative? No, because oil is a little bit different in that it is produced and can be issued by people who cannot be controlled. So you just can't control, like there's no centralized control of the producers of oil. You understand? So if Iran wants to produce oil and America says, no, stop. Iran's like, stop, you stop. I'm not stopping. So it's a little bit different with oil. And I believe that there was a purpose behind driving oil to negative. So that wasn't a shock to the system. That was desired. All right. That's a stimulus effect after the 2020 collapse. You needed stimulus. So what's the best stimulus? You drop the most expensive thing, the most expensive thing as far as inflation is concerned, drop it negative. That's huge. That's huge stimulus. So it's a little different with oil. But what I'm saying, guys, is that we now have a market that does not operate on man-made rules. We have a market that operates on maths. You understand? Every 2016 blocks, Bitcoin has an difficulty adjustment rate. No human being does that. We simply sit there and watch. Every 2016 blocks, boom, Bitcoin does it all by itself. You understand? Every 210,000 blocks, there's a halving, roughly 4 years. No human being says, okay, it's time to flip the halving on. Are we ready? Let's go. Boom. No, it does it all by itself with no human intervention. We simply, as human beings, sit there and watch it happen. We count it down. It's crazy. This thing is running without a human being running it. What else on earth is running without a human being running it? What else on earth has given us 140 plus years of its schedule? Here's my pay schedule for the next 140 years. Here's my halving schedule for the next 140 years. Here's my difficulty adjustment rate change for the next 140 years. Now work with that. That's freaking certainty. You mean I can be certain that every 210,000 blocks, the issuance rate is going to be cut in half? Absolutely. Certainly. As certain as the night follows every day. You mean, Oliver, tell me every 2016 blocks, the difficulty rate adjustment changes and adjusts? Yes. With certainty? Yes. Without any human intervention. You mean roughly on average, every 10 minutes, there's a new block? No one can change that? No one can change the rules? Nope. Like freaking clockwork. without a human being doing it. This is alien technology, people. And it has been given to us as a freaking gift. Do you understand? We've been given the gift of security, as my friend just said, and we've been given the gift of certainty. And we can be mathematically certain that every 4 years, just take a look at it once again, every freaking 4 years, every 4 years, people, do you understand? Every 4 years, you will be directionally right if you bet up. Forever. Forever. Crazy. Johnny Black says, what exactly makes it worth something? Did you just show up this second? Johnny Black? Like just this second? Is this, you just opened this live event and without hearing a single word from me, you just asked that question? Or were you here all along? Like if you have listened to what I just said, you can't possibly have the question is, wait, Oliver, what makes it worth something, a market that no human beings control? What makes it worth something? What makes a market worth? What makes a market that cannot be inflated worth something? What makes a market that cannot be stopped by anyone something? What makes it worth something? Like, come on, dude. This is like saying, all right, if Google came up with the only network in the world that can never be hacked, ever, what do you think the value of that would be? Do you think every single bank in the world would say, Google, please, we want to use your network? You mean no one ever in the history of life itself will ever be able to hack this? No. We want to do business with you. Well, what do you think the value of an unhackable network forever is? It's infinity. What do you think the value of a money and a vault that you can save something in this vault, a vault that can never be cracked, and a vault that whatever you put in there grows bigger every 4 years of your life forever? What's the value of that? You put $1 million in the vault, it becomes exponentially more every 4 years of your life. That's a freaking magical vault, right? And no one can Oliver, you mean no one can crack this vault? No one ever. The only person on earth that has access to this is me? Yes. No one can steal it. No one can change the rules. No one can inflate it, debase it. No one can stop it. No one can hack it. No. It's going to increase for me every 4 years until I die. And if I pass it to my children, it'll do it every 4 years for them, and on and on and on every generation. Yes. But Oliver, what actually makes it worth something? Holy shit. Holy shit. 100,000 cannot come fast enough. Wow. Wow. All right. Holy shit. I'm flabbergasted. Oh. Now, what I want to do, 100,000 by when? Possibly this month. But the date I made public is before January 9th. We're past 100,000. I think we might get there this month. But Oliver, are you sure? No, I'm not sure, but I'd be willing to place a bet. Absolutely. But Oliver, what makes it worth something? I know all of this, but what makes it worth something, Oliver? I know no one can ever steal it, ever. But what makes it worth something? I know it's gone up every 4 years and will continue to every 4 years forever. But what makes it worth something? Okay. All right. I've got, guys, I got to open this door. It's a little hot here. Give me a second. Open the door to my balcony here. Okay. Okay. What is my target for the end of this cycle? Guys, okay, so let's have fun. We can have some fun. I've done videos. I've done videos on this. All right. So I know some of you have just discovered me or whatever, but so when you're coming up with a price model, you don't try to pinpoint a specific price. You range, right? I've done this my whole career. So you range, right? And you typically range in three parts, okay? So you have what some people might refer to as a sandbag range. You have a base case range, and then you have a mega range. Not zero, not probable, but not zero either. A mega range, right? So what I've talked about in my ranges is 180,000 is sandbag for me. That range. So let's call it a little bit less than 200,000 is the sandbag zone. That would be nice, but kind of disappointing based on historical standards, right? So that's the sandbag range. Then you have the mega. I'm going to go to the mega range. So my mega range is somewhere up there around 750,000. Up in that range. That's the mega. Not probable, not zero either. Okay. And then base case is more like 370, 350. That's base case. Base case is 350. Now, before you say, Oliver, come on, Bitcoin's done that every single time and more. That's 350 is conservative. That's conservative. 180 is ridiculous. 350 is conservative. And then, all right, 800,000, that's a long shot, but it's not zero either, you know? So I know that sounds like a wide range. Guys, remember, I told you, you don't have to get the number right. You just have to get the freaking direction right. We have the direction right. You understand? We have the direction right. Absolutely, of course. It's very true. This is true. People just, they don't, guys, we have lost, our society has over time lost the capacity for critical thinking. And so this is not new. This happens every 80 years, guys, throughout all of human experience for the most part. Every 80 years, there's a dramatic reset or change. You can look this up throughout history, right? Every 80 years. Now, these 80-year periods have these 20-year cycles inside of the macro 80-year cycle. Now, it's on average 80 years. It's not, Oliver, 80 years, now the day after 80 is the next cycle. No, it's around 80 years, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But if you look throughout history, and I've studied financial history, I mean, it's amazing to me, almost everybody wants money, more money, but how many people have actually studied money? Very little. The very thing people spend the vast majority of their entire day, their entire existence acquiring, trying to acquire, wanting, desiring, lusting after, they wouldn't dare sit down to study it. How freaking ridiculous is that? I've studied money. I've studied financial markets all the way back until they began. I've studied all the cycles. They operate Markets and life itself in general operates on these 80-year cycles. This is why your average, um, this is why your average world's reserve currency, the average lifespan of a world's reserve currency, I'm not talking about some shitty currency, I'm talking about the world reserve currency, the dominant currency in the world, about 80 years. 80 years, some 100, some a little bit more, some less. But it's because life tends to operate on these 80-year cycles. And these 80-year cycles are divided into 4 parts, all right? 20 and 20 years apart. And in the last 20 years, you have the breakdown in societal norms in the worst way. So you have things like just lack of trust, anybody, lack of morals, just violence is on the rise, stupidity is on the rise. People just freaking give up. Nobody's saving. Everyone has a high time preference. No one is into saving. You tell them like Bitcoin's a long-term hold, and they're like, yeah, but Oliver, the meme coins I can get what Bitcoin does in a meme coin in a week. That's the part of society we're in today. And there's just no critical thinking. Everyone wants to be told what to do, because throughout all of the cycles, the 20 years, 20 years, 20 years, you've gone to the late stage part where the indoctrination has been nation states control everything. You just do what we say. All of that crumbles and the whole 80-year cycle begins again. Don't believe me? Go do your own research. Okay? My point is that we're at this stage where critical thinking has pretty much altogether stopped. No one's going to sit down and spend 50, 100, 200 hours investigating something. All right? I put thousands of hours into investigating Bitcoin since 2018. I started late. All right? But there's not a single day since the beginning of 2018 that I did not dive deeper and deeper down a Bitcoin rabbit hole. But I also studied financial markets. When I got into financial markets, I said, how can I know what the potential odds are of something if I don't know where it's come from, if I don't know its history all the way back? And people just don't do that today. You know, it's crazy. Okay. We are in a microwave society for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So one of the last things I want to do with you guys here is I do want to go to Bitcoin chart here. Okay. And this is a weekly chart. You're looking at the entire lifespan of Bitcoin over a week. All right. You see the current price here is we're currently trading at 75,000, almost 75,800. Okay. And I just want to go over the presidential election periods, as you can see. So so Bitcoin is born here, right? So, I'll do it here. Give me a second here. So Bitcoin is born, let me see here. Hello, Master. How's it going? Let's see. Give me a second here. So if we do, Bitcoin is born here, okay? Now, it has this run up before its first presidential election. Its first presidential election comes in November of 2012. Right there. Boom. So you see you're off from the high. Let's go to the next one. So the next so Bitcoin runs up from that presidential election to an all-time high. Okay. And then it falls back. And then it has its next presidential election, November 2016, right there. And as you can see, you're off the low. Now it looks small that you're off. That's because this is a log chart, but it's far away. We saw those percentages, right? And then it runs up from that election. Okay. Falls back and then has its next election in 2020, in November of 2020, right? There. As you can see, it's off. Runs up from that election. And then I can bring this down a little bit for you. You can see. Falls back and has this election here today. Crazy, right? See, second. But in this case, we're above. Okay. So we are above. Let me just do this a little cleaner. Take this one off here. And so we're above for the first time. I'll even make that a little straighter. All right. Boom. Now, at no time in the past were we at an all-time high at presidential election time. At no time in the past. But the thing I want, we've already gone over that, but the thing I want you to understand is what's next. This is what I really want you to understand. So what happened, I'll make this straighter. So what happened after presidential election time every time? What happened? This happened. Well, got the wrong thing. I'll get it straight. I'll get it straight, I promise. This happened. That's after this presidential election right there. All right. And if we go back to every presidential election time, let's go back to the next one. What happened after this presidential election? You see it. You know what happened. Here's a presidential election right there. What happened? This happened. Okay. Let's go to the prior presidential election. You know, the prior one happened here. Here is your prior presidential election. What did it do after presidential election? This. All right. Now we got all of them here, right? Look, we got all of them, right? That's all the presidential elections. Now let's go to this one. All right. Bring it down. Let's bring it down. Here is the presidential election now. Let me do the same mark I did with the others. Tell me what the heck is next. What's next? You saw what happened after every presidential election during Bitcoin's entire life. So we have history. We have a past. It's the only thing we can rely on. What the heck is next? Come on. You know. I know. You know. You can say it. We all know. You can say it. We all know. Let's go ahead and say it. What happens after every presidential election is mega. It's my main message to you. I don't care if Bitcoin's at an all-time high. That's going to look cheap next year. Do you understand? That's going to look like pennies next year. Don't let this fool you, people. You've seen every single presidential election I've shown you. But Oliver, the past is no guarantee of the future. With Bitcoin, it is. Guys, I am floored by how many people, listen to me carefully, right? I'm floored by how many people will place more faith in what has never happened over, instead of placing faith in what has always happened. So hear me out. What has always happened after presidential election is an exponential run in Bitcoin every single freaking time. Every time. So we have a 100% record, right? Granted, we don't have 10 records 10 times, but we got to use what we have. The ones that we have, 100% exponential run after presidential election time, right? Day. But people will say, but Oliver, what do you mean, but Oliver? But what if? What do you mean, but what if? We don't have an if. We don't have another scenario that you can point to. There's no but can't come into it if it's 100%. But comes into it if you say, well, but Oliver, 8 times it did this, but 2 times it did the opposite. Now you have a but, right? But Oliver, that's okay. But when you have all 100%, there's no but, people. There's no what if it's 100%. It's silly. So people, I am floored by this. It's insane, really. I'm floored by this. That people would rather bet on what has never happened. Instead of betting on what has happened every single time. So Bitcoin exponential run after presidential election every single time. But I'd rather not bet on that. And I'd rather bet on something that I imagine may happen. So they place more faith in an imagined scenario that has never happened versus this has happened every single time. Does that make sense to you? Guys, I've dealt with this my whole career. I've dealt with this my whole career training traders all over the world, guys. I'm in Colombia. I trained 60% of Colombia's professional traders, 60% of them. They all sent their traders to me for training. I was the go-to firm. Do you understand? I trained 60% of them. My point is that I've been training traders for 30 years. And I've always dealt with this, the human mind. I've dealt with the human mind, which is a freaking terrible thing, especially when it comes to financial markets. The mind creates these scenarios that have no reality. But here's the thing. When you create a scenario, it becomes your brainchild and your paternal instinct kicks in. Because it's your creation, you actually believe it more because you created it. I don't care, Oliver, if every presidential election has kicked off exponential runs. I have this imagined scenario of a collapse that I'm gonna go with that one. Really? You're gonna go with your mental creation over what has happened every time. And I have just battled people to drop this silly thing that you do. There's no buts. You bet with a thing that has happened every time until it doesn't. Tell me you understand this. I'm going to say it again. I want to see some comments. You bet with what has happened every time. You keep betting that same way until it stops. That's how you make money. Tuesday, somebody tell me they understand that. I just need one or two of you. All right. Wednesday comes after Tuesday. Wednesday has come after Tuesday my whole life, people. Without exception. You will not get me at any point in my life to bet with real money, to bet that this time Wednesday doesn't come after Tuesday. You're not going to get me to do it. I'm going to bet that Wednesday comes after Tuesday every single time until it stops doing it. Until Bitcoin stops exponentially running after presidential election time, I'm betting that way. I'm not taking your picture in your mind and betting with that. I'm not taking your imagined scenario. I'm not taking what some economist says is going to happen in 2025. I'm not taking that bullshit. I'm taking what's real. All of that's imagined bullshit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nobody wants to. Oh, yeah, here it is. I'm just missing your comments. Good. Fantastic. We get it. Good. Good. So, one more time. Just stare at it, guys. One more time. Stare at it. Stare at every presidential run. Go ahead. Stare at it. Wait, let me do this. Stare at it, people. Before I leave you, just stare at it. The heck is going on? Why can't I do this? Oh, here it is. Just stare at it. There's the presidential run. Here. There it is. Boom. There's a presidential run from the presidential election run. Here's a prior one, presidential election run. There it is. Prior one, presidential election run. There it is. This one. Presidential election run. It's not rocket science. You changed my life, OV. Derek, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's not rocket science. You know, look, here's something else I'm going to share with you that I'm always explaining to my traders. Markets are very basic. They're primitive, in fact. I mean, if you think about markets, they can only do three things: go up, go down, go sideways sometimes. That's it. It's not like markets can do 2,116 different things. And you have to figure out each one of the 2,116 things. No. Markets do three things. They go up, they go down, and sometimes they kind of go sideways. That's it. That's it. Three things. You would think with all the complexity, you would think that this thing was the most complex, markets were the most complex thing on planet Earth with the way some of you think, the way some of you approach it. With your little indicators and your lines, but Oliver, this ticked down, and the pi indicator and the stochastic and the RSI, I've seen charts, guys, with so many lines on it, it looked like a freaking bowl of spaghetti. Are you kidding me? Seriously? Markets go up, down, and sideways, dude. Markets appear to be more complex than they really are. Do you know why? Because we bring our complexity to it. The complexity that the markets appear to have actually belong to us. We are the complex entity in the equation. We're the complex thing. And we bring our complexity to this simple, basic thing called the market. Up, down, sideways. You understand what I'm saying? Let me show you something. Let me show you how basic markets really are. And Bitcoin market in particular, I want to show you this, guys. And then I will end on this so that you can stop making this harder than it needs to be. Stop it. It's freaking ridiculous. It's ridiculous at this point. Stop making this harder than it needs to be. All right, let me show you this. I posted this again today. Right? I will show you. People, look. Overthinking, that's right. Now, look. You want to see basic? You want to see real basic shit? This is basic shit. Look, up, big, down. All right, let's do the next one. All right, we started 2011, right? Up, big, relax, down. Okay, let's do the next one, 2015. Up, big. Okay, now rest. You deserve it. Relax. All right, let's do the next one. 2019. Up, big. All right. You blew yourself out. You did an amazing job. You deserve to rest. Okay, relax, rest. All right, let's do the next one. 2003. Up. 2004. Up. 2025. What the heck is next, people? Somebody type it for me. Just fill in the word. I know you know it. Just do it for me. Indulge me. What the heck is next for 2025? Tell me what's next. I'll wait. Here we go. Was that so complex? Did you have to draw any? Do you have to draw any lines? And but Oliver, this indicator, but these lines didn't cross. These lines didn't cross. Really, seriously? Your 12-year-old knows how to do this. Do you understand? Stop making this more complex than it freaking needs to be. All right. Crazy, right? But Oliver, you got people out here checking the planetary alignment and saying, but Oliver, Saturn is not quite in orbit. And the full moon, the full moon. Like, dude, just stare at this, man. Just stare at this. That's all. That's all you need. Stare at this, dude. All right. Tell me, when is the next bear market? Somebody just tell me. When is the next bear market? When's the next big decline in Bitcoin? All right. I know some people think that we're not going to get one again. There you go, imagining shit again, right? All right. Here we go. 2026. All right. There we go. So, was that so hard? Was that complex? Did you need a freaking indicator? Did you need to check the planetary? Did you need to pray? Wait, the full moon cycle. The full moon, Oliver. The full moon. Did you need that? Did you need some economist to tell you that 2026 is the bear market? You need some YouTube bro. I know you're going to say I'm a YouTube bro, but you know what I'm saying. You need some crypto analyst to stop making this more difficult than it has to be. Please, just please. All right. I'm out after 100,000. That does not mean I'm selling. That just means I'm out of the day-to-day dealing with pounding the table. I think I've done that enough. I don't really have anything else to say, but that, stare at that. That's what I have to say. My message never changes. Every quarter of your life, if you can ensure that you have more Bitcoin this quarter than you had last quarter, and you do that forever. But Oliver, what about the bear markets, especially in the bear markets? If you do that, your children's children will remember your name. Now go to work. Go to work. Stack harder. All right, guys. Ciao for now. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. I truly appreciate you showing up in this short notice. There's 2,062 people here. I appreciate it. You just blow me away with your generosity. So thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Congratulations to all of those who wanted the first Bitcoin president to get elected. Congratulations. Onward and upward from here. You know what to do. Boom. Boom. All right. Ciao. Ciao.